To continue, each section, ECL1, ECL2, are listed here as table of contents hyperlinks. For example, A, B, G, D, evolution, color-coded, longest attested languages, all connect to their own section. The main point or anchor point is the origin of letters, which was deciphered last year as shown here on the evolution of the alphabet chart. For example, the flood god comes out of his cave at the bottom of letter N, or the L branch of the Nile, and this becomes letter N. Or as shown here, the L branch of the Nile comes from became the L-shaped lip or mouth opening tool, which is based on the L band of the Nile, which is also based on the 7 stars of the Little Dipper. And we note it as a non-coincidence that letter L equals 30 in Greek numerals, and Thebes, which is located here, or Theba, also equals 30 in Greek. So the question is, how is it that 1,000 years ago people played a name and numbers game, as reported by Plutarch, such that men would graffiti on cave walls and rocks, "I love the woman whose number is 545," or Femi. Phi equals 500, mu equals 50 or 40, E equals 5, and philo equals love. So people back in the day used to have a number, and they had a name based on this number. This is all covered in these books: Gadala's Egyptian alphabetical letters, Barry's The Greek Kabbalah, and Fideller's Jesus Christ, Son of God, Ancient Cosmology and Early Christian Symbolism. To begin with, to look at the first 3 opening quotes of the section main page, we see that William Jones in 169A reported, after being stationed as a judge, he's from England, but he was stationed as a judge in India, noted that the Indian word Sanskrit and English words had many overlapping similarities, after which he noted that Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, Gothic, Celtic, possibly Old Persian, must have come from a common source, and that he said we may fairly conclude that they all proceeded from a central country. So this country was never found until the last decade or so, starting with Gadala, who said that Egypt is the mother language of all the Hebrew, Arabic, and European languages. They all proceed from a central country, which is Egypt. Instead, linguists have invented a Proto-Indo-European civilization or Proto-Germanic civilization, and invented words to explain the common source words. Young, who coined the term Indo-European, stated that we must not expect to find common words in all existing languages without exception, and that to find a universal etymology must be regarded as a visionary undertaking. So that's what we're doing here in this dissertation, is showing that all alphabet-based words derive from Egypt, with the exception of anomalies such as Vietnamese, which are recently adopted the Latin alphabet to become more modernized. Lastly, John Brown, in his book Israel and Hellas, or Greece, said we need an Egyptologist to study the phonetics and to cite the actual hieroglyphic texts. This is a reference to Martin Bennell, who tried to derive Greek words without actually citing the original hieroglyphics, but instead cited the phonetic transliterations. Of hieroglyphic texts. For example, instead of showing an eagle, he would say that this is A, or instead of showing a reed, he would say this is A. Or for example, instead of showing this sign, he would just say that words such as, for example, the Trojan War derived from the T of bread, which is just devolves into a rabbit hole of nonsense. So here we see the aim of the or crude aim is an adult should at least know where letters A, B, and C came from, which is certainly something no child was taught in youth until about 2 or 3 years ago. Here we see that A comes from the hoe plow, which became this sign, this sign, this sign, this sign, and this sign in Brahmi, Phoenician, Aramaic, and South Arabian. B is the stars of the space goddess, which became this box. Woman with breasts here, woman with breasts here, woman on all fours here in South Arabian. And the earth god became a man with an erection in Brahmi, Phoenician, so-called Paleo-Hebrew, and South Arabian here. And then D is the pudenda or delta, or the birth canal, pubic hair region of the stars goddess, which became letter D.